Before we get going, I know, Jeff, I think you had a couple words you wanted to say before we get going today.
I just want to acknowledge the fullness of life, the joy and the sadness that is in store for us all. And I'm filled with both of them today. And as I was last night, learning of my dear friend's passing, Robin, and the wonderful, joyous feeling of, giving birth to our child here, the giver. And the combination was just quite remarkable. It sort of reminded me of what the giver and the receiver might have felt, holding all those memories. And it was an amazing night. I remember pulling up to the boathouse where we had our party, and I'm sitting there with my wife trying to gather myself, and I look out of the window, and I say, "What, is that Robin? Is that his ghost? No, it's Radio Man." That's right. And it brought back all of these wonderful feelings of what an amazing time we had together here in New York shooting The Fisher King. And I got out of the car and I embraced Radio Man, looked at his face. And I remember when we were shooting Fisher King, Radio Man, he knows where all the movies are shot, and somehow, I don't know how he magically does that, but I remember seeing Radio Man, and we could not believe that Robin's character was there in the flesh, in reality, and there he was. And so we embraced, Radio Man, and it felt like it was, I felt Robin's spirit as I'm feeling him now in this room with us. And just before I came down, I'm looking out my window to Central Park, my favorite part about New York, and I'm remembering the last scene of me and Robin out there at 4 o'clock in the morning, nude, naked, And Robin is just wild and free, and he says, "Let the wild pony dance," and he was just, and he's rubbing his butt on the grass like this, and he says, "You know why dogs do this? Because they can." He was just so wild, and so I just had to share that with you because that's what's going on so strongly, and how much I miss him, and I'm sure you guys do too. What a gift he was to all of us, and what a gift Lois gave us with her wonderful book, and Philip down there, putting it up on the screen. So that's all I wanted to say, and now let the Wild Rumpus start. Thank you.
Thanks for that wonderful memory, Jeff. I do want to turn to Ms. Lowry, because obviously this all begins with you. 21 years ago, this book came. I can't imagine you necessarily thought this day would come. When did it enter your mind that a film might be in the offing, and it was something that you always welcomed with open arms?
As you said, it was 21 years ago that I wrote the book, probably 20 years ago that it was published, and 2 years after that Nikki and Jeff came to me. That's a lie. They didn't come to me personally. Their people came to me to suggest that we turn it into a movie. Seemed as if it would be easy at the time. It wasn't. But maybe good things never come easily. So it was a very long haul, as you know. 18 years after that date, finally, the movie is on the screen. And most of the people who are here with us today would not have been part of it 18 years ago. So good things come to those who wait.
Michael and Philip, and perhaps Nikki, if you want to weigh on this as well. I mean, the look of the film is gorgeous, and I'm sure the decision to portray some of it, much of it in muted colors, black and white even, is a big one for any studio film. Was that something that you all arrived at collaboratively together? Was there any discussion of going another way?
No, none. We just followed Jonas's, well, everyone's limited perception, and Jonas's gathering perception of color. and the world around him, and structured the color scheme around that. Of course, you don't have to see black and white when you're reading Lois's words. You can imagine you're watching, events in color. But we had to make some pretty hard decisions, and we laid out the film from first frame to last, and then shot it that way, and that's how you see it in the cinema.
Did to our young actors, younger actors, we're all young here, younger actors here today. Did any of you encounter this book prior to coming to the material?
Sadly, no.
None of us?
None of us did.
Did you guys read it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in school.
So what struck you?
There you go. We've got one reader.
There you go. What struck you about it, Taylor?
Huh?
What struck you about it the first time you encountered
when
it?
I read the book, it was one of those things that really changed my perspective on a lot of things. I think when I read it, I was in probably 5th grade, and I didn't do a lot of thinking about the distant future as far as our society goes, at that point in my life. And this really kind of switched that up for me, and it really kind of blew my mind in a way that stuck with me. And when I got this script, I just immediately thought, I'm gonna say yes to this. I really hope it's a good adaptation. I hope it's a good portrayal of this, because if it's anything like the effect the book had on me, then I'm gonna do this.
For you, Ms. Streep, I'm wondering what, in an extraordinarily varied career, this is new material. This is a different part than we've ever seen you portray, which obviously I guess is the goal of any actor. What boxes did this check when this script came in and this material came your way that said, I need to do this, this makes sense for me right now?
Well, I like to be boss, so... So that was a good thing. I'd always wanted to work with this gentleman my entire career. Never got the chance. Somehow he eluded me. And so that was a big, big part of the draw. And also, big admirer of Philip's films. I think he's a pure filmmaker with great taste. And I knew to bring this to life, especially the colorless parts of it, it would take a great artist. So I was really happy to be pulled in.
Did your kids read the book?
Yeah, mine did, yeah. They were required, they had a list of required reading over the summer, and it's always, to get them to do it. And that's one of my parenting methods. No, but that one was put in front of them, and they devoured it. The two younger ones.
I have a question for you, Ms. Streep, and it's about the fact that when an actor makes a movie, it's all about the emotions, and it's all about the developing of that intensity of emotions. And here, your character is deprived from them. So how do you build something in which you deliver still with that level of constriction because of who the character is?
Who was that addressed to?
I'm not sure, actually. Who did you want to address that to?
To Meryl Streep, please.
To Ms. Streep?
Oh. Thank you. I love the way you say my name. Well, it's an interesting thing to play people who have suppressed emotion, but I felt that the chief elder didn't take her medication as well on certain days. Do you know what I mean? Like we all skip, probably. Because clearly she had some deep history with the giver, the receiver of wisdom, right? And I think that was something that intrigued me about this script. But in terms of, I think that's sort of the point of the book. You can't keep things in. You can't suppress the things that make us human, and it's pointless to try.
for Brenton, Odeya, and Cameron, you guys, I mean, within the first 10, 15 minutes of the film, you have a tall task in that a lot of the rest of the film rides on what you establish in this very core relationship and the journey that you all go on and the fracturing of that relationship as the film progresses. I know you guys shot this in South Africa. Did that sort of lend itself to kind of helping establish a bond that you could portray on screen in those first few key scenes?
Yeah? No, I think so. I think we're like family now. They're like my brothers. And when you are somewhere far away,
Brothers
not
get to punch their sisters. So.
okay. Anyway.
Not in front of the press, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway,
Sorry. Later, I'm gonna get you.
Okay. Okay. It's my turn to talk now. Anyway, what I was saying. So, I think when you are on location and not everybody has their family there, they do come visit. You become a family. And we had Thanksgiving together on the beach, and we got together on weekends, and we're just being with a movie crew. I think even with the local South Africans, everybody just becomes really close. And I mean, aside from Brenton, everyone's really easy to get along with. So.
Response, Brenton, or are you going to just let that go?
I've got nothing, bro. I've got nothing. I've used them all up. I've got none left.
Fair enough.
So the idea that knowledge is power is such a prevalent idea in this film. And what I was wondering was, for each of you, was there something that when you were around Jonas's age that really, that you learned that really affected you and kind of helped you throughout your respective careers?
Well, I thought I learned how to ride a bicycle, but it turns out that might not have been the case. We had these death traps that were built for this movie, these heavy steel. I got my shoelace caught in the chain once. I fell into a bush. I think we have a bunch of outtakes of me being completely incapable and uncoordinated. So I wish I would have properly learned that lesson. Yeah.
Emma, how was the bike for you?
I needed somebody to teach me how to ride the bicycle because they're like heavy and it's hard. It's not like bicycles we use.
It's the future, Emma.
They were the ultimate prop bicycles, meaning we made them cheaply. Meaning they fell apart and they were very heavy.
It was the South African version of the futuristic bicycle.
Director always watching his budget.
Hi, I was wondering, in such an emotional role, maybe Katie and Meryl and Jeff could mention what you did maybe as a few of you as a group or personally to kind of decompress a little bit.
We jammed. We did a lot of music, lots with Taylor as well, right? Taylor, Taylor. My scenes with Taylor were mostly at the piano, so we were talking music all the time. And then between scenes, we'd break out our gits and pick a little bit. We had great jam sessions with Brenton and Odeya, and Michael Mitnick plays a bad piano.
Michael, that was crazy.
Yeah,
He's so good.
Oh, isn't he? Yeah, wonderful. So that's what we did.
Best man of my life.
Actually, a question for you, Taylor. I mean, obviously, a lot of attention given that this is a significant step for you in the acting world, and I'm sure you've had some opportunities, some offers have come your way. What were you looking for, and what about this one made it the right time and the right project?
Well, like Meryl said, it's unbelievable to even think about having the opportunity to work with Jeff. So I think for me that was just an unbelievable concept that I would get to do sort of this dream scenario where I get to have a very small role that has a pivotal part in the story, but isn't too, jumping into too deep water your first time in a serious, dramatic movie. But I think that the fact that it was all those things put together, the fact that it was a story that stuck with me from my childhood, the fact that it was, written by an author I really respect, the fact that it celebrates all the things that I hold really dear and the things that are most important to me, like our history and our music and our art and our intellect and our memories. I think that really had a great deal to do with why I wanted to be a part of this. I think in a world where right now I'm seeing so many of my fans and these people write to me on Instagram and Twitter and letters saying that they're having such a tough time with life because they can't imagine that we can experience such great pain, such intense loss, such insecurity. And the thing that I just wish I could tell them over and over again is that we live for these fleeting moments of happiness. Happiness is not a constant. It's something that we only experience a glimpse of every once in a while, but it's worth it. And I think that's what they'll take away from this movie.
Hi, this is a question for Jeff. Because you've been working on this project so long, I wondered if your original vision of how the film would be has evolved over time, or if it stayed pretty true to your original vision.
I came to an interesting crossroads on my adventure with this movie. You know, as I've said before, I was going to direct my father, Lloyd, in the movie. So I had spent these, 18 years, and going through many, many versions of the script, working with many directors, trying to realize the vision that I had. And just generally, my vision was very close with the book. I wanted to really, the book moved me kind of in a profound way, and I really wanted to do the book justice, and I was, very concerned about that. And when Harvey Weinstein and Walden Media said, "Oh, we'll make this movie, but here's how we want to make it," he started paying it, and I said, "Oh, that's kind of different than I imagined it." And I knew that Harvey was, he's an old school, movie maker. Look at the movies that come out of Harvey's oven, and also Walden. So I figured I'm going to jump in here and just, surf this wave here and see what happens. And then the casting started to happen, and met with Philip and, these guys. But that was the big bump for me. In the book, they're 12, and for various reasons, they wanted to, some of the team wanted to make the kids older, and that was really a struggle for me to let that one go. But then I met these two, and that started to relax. And then Brenton made a great statement that he said, in the book, it's the ceremony of 12, and he said, well, it could be the ceremony of the 12th grade. Where kids are, 17 or 18, and Brenton at the time looked that age, and I remember going through that period with my 3 girls, and that was the age when they were questioning, what are we going to be, when we grow up, kind of thing. So that kind of worked, and so it was a constant process of letting go. Another kind of a spiritual question that popped up for me while I was working on it was, okay, you're going to let go, Jeff, but when do you, in life, when do you yin and when do you yang, And I'm mainly a yinner, I just kind of go, surf, let it go. And I came to an interesting answer to that question, when do you yin, when do you yang? And if you just take out that when do you, then it becomes you yin and you yang. And I noticed I'm yinning, but every once in a while, right, Philip, I would say, it's rare, right, Nick? I would yang, but it would just kind of come out, and that's how I served the project, I figure. I didn't want to suppress that yanging, but I wanted to roll and take all of these different changes and different conceptions than mine, and let them be almost aspects of my larger self. I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, thank you.
It was a nice parallel to have those moments working with Jeff, because The Giver gives me a lot of these memories, which inspire Jonas's journey.
Dancing. We'll be dancing.
There will be dancing.
Well,
I mean, if you consider this like dancing,
unintentional dancing.
Yeah, that's going to be
if you consider that dancing.